Hello, everybody, and welcome to Every Horror Movie on Netflix, the podcast where we watch, review, and discuss every horror movie on Netflix. I'm Patrick, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Allison with a Y.
Hey, everyone.
And Allison with an I.
Hey, y'all.
And we are here today to discuss the movie Bones and All. But before we dig into that, we got some sad news. I'll cut right to the chase. This is going to be the second to last episode of the podcast. We're going to do this one last movie review episode and then one final EHMON Awards year in review episode to wind down the year. And that's going to be it for the podcast. And as kind of the the person who threw this idea on the table and I think kind of drove us in this direction over the last couple of weeks, I'll give a quick explanation as to why. So, longtime listeners of the show will know that my longtime original co-hosts, Chris and Steven, left the show at the end of the year. I carried on the show in their absence because I was still, feeling the energy, feeling the excitement. And I brought on Allison with a Y, Allison with an I at the beginning of this year. And I think we have had a fantastic time. I have absolutely loved doing this with you guys. It ain't you, it is me. I have reached that, that burnout point, I think. I've been doing this for 8+ years, 220 something episodes. And fundamentally, my heart is not in the podcasting game anymore. That said, I probably would have kept doing this for a long fucking time if not for this news that broke a week or two ago about Netflix putting in this offer to buy Warner Brothers. That may or may not happen. Paramount is making this hostile bid. Who knows how that's all going to fucking shake out. Netflix may not own Warner Brothers when it's all said and done. But that said, it's one aspiring evil empire too far for me. Even if this doesn't happen, I still don't love that Netflix was trying to make it happen. I don't love the insane monopoly that would create in the industry. I don't love, the statements that the Writers Guild of America, the Directors Guild of America, and lots of other folks in the industry have put out about how bad this is for the industry. And it just puts me in a place where I don't feel great about continuing to do a podcast that is completely, inextricably tied to Netflix. We call it EHMON. We're not going to, what are we going to do? We're not going to come up with a new name. It's the Netflix podcast. And, what Netflix is and what Netflix means within the industry has changed wildly and dramatically since I started the show over 8 years ago. So between that and also just my personal burnout, I just felt like it was time to call it. I'm going to shut up now and let you all chip in as well. How are you guys feeling about this moment?
It's been so much fun getting to be a host for, almost the past year. I've really loved this. I could keep going, but unfortunately, I am somebody who feels a lot of guilt when things are glaringly unethical, and I don't feel good continuing. It's felt kind of weird before. Just, I think even there was kind of a question for myself when I started to host this, like, is Netflix really a corporation I want to shill for? But in a lot of ways, the kind of positives outweighed the negatives because I felt like we got to bring light to a lot of lesser known films, a lot of foreign films that, people may never have watched that were incredible, that I felt like I learned a lot from. And to me, like, that was kind of like the justification to kind of outweigh the negative aspects. And I'm having a hard time knowing that Netflix wants to be this basically evil mastermind of the entertainment industry. I'm having a hard time feeling like the good outweighs that at this point. And it's like, yeah, this is a Netflix podcast. It would be hard to pivot to something else on using this particular podcast at this point. So that's how I feel about it. But I don't know. I will miss the conversations. I will miss the excuse to push me to watch films out of my comfort zone, because it really has done that for me, and I've been grateful for that. What about you,
I feel like I'm losing a little part of myself, if I'm being honest. I love horror. That's not going to change. I'm going to keep watching, reading, consuming all the horror things, because it hasn't stopped me since probably age 10. So that won't end. But I love talking horror with you guys, and we'll still do that. Just we won't be recording it. I mean, I am in total support of Patrick's decision, and I think if you haven't gotten the drift from us collectively, we are very not into tech bros, oligarchies, or corporate greed. So, I think taking a stand in that way feels really natural to me. I'm looking for ways to push back and for ways to be supportive of the arts and, anything that's falling kind of victim to corporate greed. So This is unfortunately just the latest fucking example of that. But this has been such a treat and a joy, and I'm actually really proud of us. We didn't miss an episode all year, and we had a lot of fun. And just to echo what Allison with a Y said, I got to watch movies I would have never come across my radar, and that were really impactful. Movies from other cultures that shined a light on things I had never heard of before. In a horror movie, just really beautiful pieces of art. And man, yeah, I mean, I've had such a great time. I'm sad, but I'm also really proud of what we've created here. Mm-hmm. So thanks to our listeners and, everybody who's supported us. And we love you guys.
Yeah, second all that. Especially the part about just feeling like you're losing a piece of yourself, especially because I've been doing this for the better part of a decade. It feels insane and bizarre, very strange to be moving on from it. But, as I was saying to Y the other night, it's the pieces of this that I love doing, I can still do. I can watch horror movies. I can talk to you guys both about them. I can keep in touch with those of you out there in the listening audience who I have absolutely loved building connections with over the years. We're already in touch one way or another to begin with, so we're going to stay that way. It's just, moving on from this particular facet of doing all that. And I don't know, you may still hear from us again in the future in some future podcast project. I do still like the medium, and could see myself starting some kind of new project at some point. Probably not going to be right away, but it could happen. Regardless, also super, super proud of, the show in general, the full run, and super proud of us too for, forging a new thing, a new identity. Our super fan Bree said, it's still the same show, but it's two different shows. It's fundamentally a different show. We started a new thing this year, and I think we did a really good job of it and had a lot of fun. And I will be always very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time for me to start my every Dracula film media ever podcast. Yeah.
Or my A-Moms group.
A-Moms!
I've been reading Frank Langella's book, and it goes hard. There's so much tea about I guess not technically old Hollywood, but he's dropping tea about Laurence Olivier and Jackie Onassis and all this shit. It's wild. He did not like Laurence Olivier, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, that's beside the point. But we'll move on from all the reminiscences and political statements and all that, and move on to our movie for today, which is my pick, Bones and All. Bones and All follows a young woman named Marin, played by Taylor Russell, who is a member of a race of cannibals known as eaters, who must occasionally eat human flesh to survive. Marin and her father, played by Andre Holland, have settled into a routine of running from town to town, starting their lives anew every time Marin's hunger gets the better of her. Shortly after Marin's 18th birthday, her father abandons her and she sets out in search of her long-lost mother. Along the way, Marin encounters other eaters, first an eccentric old man named Sully, played by Mark Rylance, who helps Marin learn more about her condition, but also unsettles her. Fleeing Sully, Marin meets a fine young cannibal named Lee, played by Timmy Shimmy.
Timmy Shimmy.
As I introduced us to this delightful nickname for Timmy. I just love calling him Timmy. The man is Timothee Chalamet, if you couldn't put that together or didn't know already. And as Lee joins Marin on her cross-country journey, they slowly fall in love while contending with the nature of their own hunger and other eaters' less than noble intentions. As I said at the end of last episode, I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long fucking time. It's, I think, 3 years old now, and director Luca Guadagnino, I absolutely love his work in general. Love Timmy Shimmy. Was fascinated by this, but just had not gotten to it. That's why I picked it. I know that you were super excited about this because you had not only seen the movie before, but also I think you read the book, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I read the book few years ago, and then watched the movie, which I try to do in that order, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
I loved the book. It was the movie was very, very, very true to the book, which I think is so great when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just remember like flying through the book and being like, I am so sad this story's over. And, watching the movie was some level of like, okay, you better impress me because I loved the book, and oh my gosh, I can't even hide my love for this movie. Like it was just everything I loved about the book was just perfectly done in the movie. I would follow Luca Guadagnino into any battle.
Oh,
anywhere.
100%.
Anywhere.
100%. Did you see his Suspiria remake? I still haven't gotten to that either.
I have not. Nope. I actually watched the original Suspiria, I think 2 years ago for the first time, and I've been meaning to watch the remake and have not gotten to it. Allison with a Y, you are smiling big glee. What's happening?
I just love the original Suspiria.
It's so good.
I haven't seen the remake. I don't know if I want to because
same.
The original is so good.
I've heard it's very good, but also very different.
Okay.
Very different. I'm super curious because he seems like a pretty good person to take on that assignment. But it's super long. It's like 2.5 hours. That's one of the main reasons that I haven't like jumped into it, because it's one of those things that like just feels a little daunting to just throw on the 2.5 hour Suspiria remake.
Yeah, this one was pretty long too. I think it was like 2:22.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, just the concept of this is kind of fascinating and unique. You don't get a ton of like cannibal movies in general. I mean, like zombie movies, I guess, is one thing. Zombies are sort of cannibals,
right?
But you don't get a straight up cannibal movie, let alone a cannibal movie where the cannibals are like sympathetic.
A cannibal love story.
Yeah.
I actually kind of read it as more of a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Than specifically like a cannibal movie, because cannibalism is a choice. Zombieism is a condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually read it as a zombie movie, and how like they become weak and like have like this craving, and it's a physical need that needs to be met. So I read it as a zombie film, as a really cool take on the zombie genre.
Right. It's not like there's some perverse, Hannibal Lecter thing where like they're taking some enjoyment in doing this. It's just something they need to do and kind of hate that they have to do it. I mean, some of the other eaters they run into, not necessarily the same attitude, but at least our two protagonists, Marin and Lee, struggle mightily with the fact that they have to do this and attempt to do it in ethical ways, as far as like eating people who are already or freshly dead, as opposed to killing them for that purpose.
Or seem to be bad people,
Bad guys, yeah.
Yeah. It is a weird and kind of special concept. And I mean, like, since we're talking about this genre and this unusual creative choice, I almost kind of want to go straight to themes with this one. A few different things were kind of going through my head watching this, as far as, what the cannibalism is a metaphor for, if anything. Maybe it's just a straight up, maybe it's not really about anything else besides what it appears to be at face value. But did y'all have any thoughts on that as you were watching this? Kind of what it's trying to do thematically, what cannibalism means within the movie?
Well, the more that we learn about these characters' backstories, there's like the quintessential family trauma, generational trauma that we see in every horror movie. Because really, like we said a long, long time ago, like horror is trauma is horror, So, it's explained that, Marin's mom left at a young age. Her dad never ever gave her any insight into who her mom was, where she went, what her story was. So, she's got some abandonment issues there. And then we find out later in the movie that Lee, Timothee Chalamet's character, had a really strained relationship with his dad. So, like, I think those are the obvious sort of metaphors of estrangement from family and rejection and abandonment. That was pretty overt for me. Did you guys feel anything else was lurking beneath?
The main thing that came to mind for me, and I mean, I don't know, sometimes I almost feel like this is just, I occasionally feel sophomoric when I make this comparison or have this thought, but capitalism, baby, came up. It's all about you got to inflict harm on others and consume others just to continue to survive. Your own family, both their families, dealt with the same shit, and then which also fits into the kind of family trauma, generational trauma piece that you were just talking about. I thought about capitalism and sort of social systems a lot watching
like
this.
Eat or be eaten.
Exactly. Yeah, in the most literal way possible. And then these two characters just like trying to forge a normal existence and, enjoy love and enjoy time together while also having the constant weight of this, literal need to consume to survive.
Yeah. Aside from the cannibalism or the zombieism, whatever it is with them, I thought it was a really interesting genre mash to mix like this, something that is inherently horror, but stick it into this very Americana coming of age setting for a story, very, you're getting like these beautiful, like sweeping shots of landscape, and there's something very nostalgic about it as well, and I definitely see like the generational trauma. But Patrick, I do really like what you said about capitalism, because there was one point where Marin reacted understandably very negatively to something that happens, and that was like the point where I really saw her struggle with, what they have to do to survive. And it was also a point where I could see some doubt in her about it.
Guessing this is a spoilery moment.
I maybe.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in the spoiler room. The spoiler truck. Maybe we'll be in the spoiler pickup truck today.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah, that's interesting. What you were saying about the the Americana of it all. You know, there's a very cool kind of title design where just the postal code abbreviation for each state that they're traveling through comes up. You know, they're in whatever, Missouri, and just giant capital letters MO come up on the screen. Beautiful, beautiful sweeping kind of American vista. A little bit of a washed out color palette, though. It has a certain like stark kind of feel to it, and it's big like Bonnie and Clyde, like Badlands kind of vibes, and obviously our protagonists are less sociopathic, less problematic than Bonnie and Clyde, or than the protagonists in Badlands, which I forget their names, but I think it's very intentionally pointing in that direction.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me a little bit in some ways of Nomadland.
Yeah.
Because of like the setting, because of the not knowing where their home is, not knowing where they belong, always trying to find a new place to fit in, a place where they can ground themselves.
Did you guys see the movie, this is not horror, but the movie Away We Go?
Yeah.
Wow,
with Maya Rudolph and John
Yeah.
Krasinski. You know how they do that kind of same like title card with the state
Yeah.
abbreviation, and then they're trying to find a place to live and they're visiting all these places. In so many ways, this movie reminded me of that, obviously without the whimsy. Like there was a dark, obvious undertone because of the material that they were dealing with. But it did feel like, comfy in a way.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Yes.
And I think that's the brilliance of the directing, it was like this really horrific source material, this topic was somehow made, I don't know, I thought really beautiful.
Yeah.
And he has a way of doing that. He did the same thing in Call Me by Your Name, where there were a couple scenes where you just would feel aghast reading that on a page, but watching it in a film, it was absolutely stunning and breathtaking.
Yeah.
I also loved how it had a sort of timeless quality to the setting. Like I couldn't get a solid sense of what year it took place in.
Same.
And I loved that so much. Like it could have been modern day.
Yep.
And they just could be people who didn't have access to, didn't have the money for phones or whatever. Because there are people who don't, but it also could have been in the 70s or the 60s or
the 80s,
anywhere in between. It was so cool.
I had that same thought about the phones, but I was like, you'd have to be somewhere long enough, put an address on file to get a phone plan. Like they don't have phones. I totally agree with you. Like they're outlaws,
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt pretty solidly like late 80s, early 90s to me. But yeah, it doesn't make an attempt to pin down a specific year. And I did like that. That it felt a little fuzzy, I guess, when it was happening. Exactly.
Even the clothes, I loved the outfits that they wore. And hopefully we get into that more later. We can talk about it now, but Timothee Chalamet's costuming was absolutely insane and unhinged. And, it was implied that they were stone cold broke. So they were just finding clothes to wear at, maybe a thrift or somebody's trash or somebody's house that they go to after they've had to eat them. But oh my God, his outfits were just delightful to me. But again, no nod to any sort of time in, decade or whatever.
Yeah. It was very cool.
I want to go back to what you said about zombies too. Why? That's interesting. I hadn't really thought of it in that context, and it kind of connects back to the capitalism theme because, of course, the classic zombie movie thing is that zombie movies are about capitalism primarily, and its faults and its downfall, especially the last decade or two of zombie movies, I think have that as setting and context, even whether the creators are intending it or not. I think it ends up kind of coming across that way. And this is such an interesting way to do. I mean, it very well could have just been a zombie movie. It could have been like a Warm Bodies or something like that, where you've got zombies who have more personality. But it's not. It's doing something different. And I appreciate that. You know, you don't have the infection kind of thing. You don't have the shambling and the, groaning and moaning and non-verbalness. I don't know. It's interesting. There are some interesting parallels there, both just in the way that these characters are operating, like the basic thing that they're doing to survive, eating people, and also just the standard kind of set of zombie movie themes. But I think it comes across a lot more compellingly than it would if it was just another zombie movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hadn't thought about this as a zombie movie either. That just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
I like how your brain works. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it really, to me, it felt so natural because, like I already said, cannibalism is a choice. Zombieism is a medical condition.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at it like a medical condition, not that it's a real one.
It's an affliction, yeah.
Yeah.
Yet.
And
yeah, good God.
It's clear that at the start of it in particular, people are prone to fight it. Like it's not an urge, it's not a desire they want to get into. It could also feel sort of related to vampirism too. This need, maybe not specifically for blood, but for, the flesh as well. But I felt like it resonated more with the zombieism.
Yeah, definitely.
So at one point, Marin says, when she first meets Sully, or when she's having sort of an existential moment with Lee, because she is really, really, really burdened by this affliction that she has. She's just morally, ethically really troubled by it. Whereas the men in this movie, who are also eaters, seem to have grappled with it differently.
Yes.
But she does say, like, it's been years since the last time that happened. So it is a medical condition, for lack of a better word, but it's not as aggressive as like what we know zombieism to be in its most traditional form.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what really troubles her, is the illusion that she can control it or is there, but at the end of the day, we see in that first scene where that scene where she's at a sleepover with her friends, she can't control it.
Yeah.
And it's just, your heart breaks for her, because what would you do? I mean, that's a weird hypothetical situation to put yourself in, but she's such an empath, but she has this affliction.
Well, and the other interesting thing that kind of feeds back into the capitalism critique read is this idea the older eaters she runs into keep telling her, like, it's going to keep accelerating. Like right now, you only need to feed every so often, but as you get older, you're going to need to do it more, which is, there's so much existential dread associated with that concept for her, and you pick up on it as the viewer as well, even if you're not tying that back to the capitalism read, but it certainly fits right in pretty well too, like you're just gonna need to suck up more resources and ruin more people's lives to continue surviving as you age, essentially.
Right. And I also wonder, like, how much of it is that it just an excuse from these men, because it's all men saying that, because they are all kind of sociopathic. How much is it an excuse because they don't want to control themselves anymore? They enjoy it now. So it's something they tell themselves, and they're trying to tell her because they want to break her, because they don't want to believe that she's better than them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there we have another metaphor for the patriarchy. Shocking.
Oh, layers. So I really would love to talk about the cast, because, I mean, obviously we have Timmy Shimmy and Taylor Russell, who is so talented. I don't know if I'd seen her in anything else, but
I don't either.
The supporting cast is stacked, but not in a show-offy way. In like they cast just truly phenomenal, talented, a little bit more like lower key actors in like these roles that aren't necessarily on screen for a long time, most of them, but are so impactful.
So impactful. Yeah.
Really understated. Really understated. I have to say that one scene in particular stuck out to me. Allison, you've seen Call Me By Your Name, right?
I haven't, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Patrick, you have.
Of course, yes.
The scene with he and his dad in Call Me By Your Name, who's played by Michael Stuhlbarg, who is
He
also
was
in
Call Me By
Bones
Your
and
Name?
All.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Michael Stuhlbarg has like the devastating scene in Call Me by Your
I
Name.
love Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yeah.
It is
me
truly the most tear-jerking, beautiful, full-body goosebumps, absolute art.
Wow.
Written, acted, directed, beautiful scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of movies. But then to also see Michael Stuhlbarg in this movie, just completely different role.
Unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable. I was like, oh my God, it's you. I forgot you were in this. And like even his presence alone is huge. What a huge name and powerhouse of an actor. And he had like a, 7-minute scene and he acted his ass off. It was so good.
He is phenomenal. He is like one of those consummate character actors where I've seen him in so many different roles, so many different like types of movies, and he always just fucking brings it. And I certainly had never seen him play a fucking creepy ass redneck cannibal who's just like leering across the fire at our protagonist and just making your skin crawl with every little twitch of his face, let alone every line of dialogue. Like, damn, that was wild. And I mean, I really had that moment. Like, I love this guy. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but I was really questioning for a minute. I was like, that looks familiar. He looks familiar. He looks kind of like Michael Stuhlbarg. Is that Michael Stuhlbarg? I literally went to my phone to confirm and then like lost my shit. But yeah, he was absolutely a standout for me in this incredible cast.
One person who showed up that I was also really amped to see. Speaking of Suspiria, Jessica Harper, who plays Marin's biological grandmother.
Ooh, I don't think I recognized her.
She is in Suspiria. She's the main character in Suspiria and Phantom of the Paradise, which Patrick and I mean, he'd seen before, I think. And I watched for the first time this year, and it was an absolute banger. And she was in that. I recognized her, and I was like, who is this woman? I know that face. And I hadn't seen her. I don't think I had seen her older.
Yeah.
But oh God, she acted the shit out of that scene.
Which really kind of like disarmed me and took me aback because I mean I love Suspiria and Phantom of the Paradise and she is like fine in both of them, but not I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember either of those movies for her performance necessarily.
Right.
But I mean, similar to Stuhlbarg, she has, she's in this for 5 minutes at absolute max and just destroys as this, woman harboring some dark secrets and still trying to protect them in certain ways. Man, she was fucking great in this.
So good.
I got to talk about Taylor Russell because she was. I also don't know if I've seen her in anything else, and I said that out loud, probably to myself while I was watching this movie. But I felt like her innocence, like she played this character so perfectly well, who was so completely innocent and naive and helpless in so many ways, and just like a little delicate angel. Who's going out into the world after having been completely abandoned by everyone she can trust, finding out that she's, got this thing that there's no end in sight to. She doesn't have any money. She doesn't, have any resources. And she played that so well. At no point did I think like, I don't know. I was just completely overwhelmed by her just grace and like the nuance she brought to that role was I couldn't like stop watching her.
She was incredible. There was something. It was such her between her acting, the styling, whatever, just her presence, the innocence came across so strongly. She looked very, to me, like almost like cherubic at times. Mm-hmm. Just so innocent, so youthful. And I mean, she's young, obviously, but she's not that young,
Yeah.
When they filmed this. And
That's
chops.
interesting.
She's got chops.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you both bring up the innocence. I guess I didn't get that so much. She struck me as very, like, kind of tough, actually. Like, very capable, Even, like, her dad leaving her behind, like, she all of a sudden, she's at the bus stop and is just, like, taking no shit from the, like, bus ticket counter lady who is, like, trying to bust her balls.
I don't think those are opposing things in this case.
Yeah, just the way she moved through the world. She was very gentle, her presence was very gentle, and she genuinely played like confused, disoriented. Maybe helpless wasn't the right word, because she was very capable, and I felt that alongside me watching her and thinking, you are just a delicate angel doing your fucking best and advocating for yourself. But she was savvy too. So yeah, I mean that's the depth of this, what she brought to this role. Like there were a lot of things. I just wanted to protect her.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, obviously I think it makes sense that she's capable because of her transient lifestyle with her father, before she was on her own. But also, just the fact that she, even through that, even though she pretty much only knew a life of loss and not really be able to be close to any one person, except her father, who then abandoned her, like she still just had like this kind of, she had a hesitancy about people, but she also had so much care and so much heart and wanted to believe the best in everyone, even when she had kind of this like sort of inner voice telling her to be careful.
Yeah. The way she dealt with Sully, who we have not talked about yet, was coming from a woman who has had to be very careful of the way you talk to men who you don't know. You don't know if they're safe. You're maybe rejecting them, or you're not playing along. You have to have that uncomfortable conversation. I was like in her body in those moments, and I was like, you are dealing with this masterfully, but also ew, because we know what that's like.
It was it was really upsetting to watch her have to do that, but also being like, yes, this is exactly how you handle that.
Yep.
And but just me crawling out of my skin at those moments, knowing what that feels like.
It's a very nuanced performance. There's just a lot going on. And I think, kind of like bringing together the two different concepts we were talking about with the innocence versus the capability or the toughness. Like, I think both of those are there in the sense that, a lot of the time you get this exterior projection of capability and toughness, which she is also inherently capable and tough. But, you have those moments, and I think the Sully stuff is a great example of it, where, she's projecting that, but also doing an incredible job playing the terror.
The terror underneath the surface.
Exactly. And let's talk about Sully.
Oh my God.
I fucking love Mark Rylance. He is so talented. I mean, and very like Stuhlbarg, like just a consummate character actor. And God, yeah, I've never seen him do anything like this. And it was terrifying and often endearing too. That was the upsetting part, was that this character like kind of seemed sort of sweet in his creepy way at times before like all hell breaks loose toward the end, which we'll talk more about later. But just wow, what a great, just like low-key off-kilter performance where you're never quite sure what to expect from this guy.
Yeah. Oh, Sully.
Oh, Sully.
Oh, yeah. Sully. Allison with a Y. You did not read the book nor hadn't seen this movie.
Correct.
I am anxious to hear what was your impression of Sully at first?
From the get-go?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him eyeing her, I was like, this isn't going to go well. When early in the movie, when she leaves him behind, I was like, I do not believe that this is going to be the last I see of him.
Oh, God, that shot where she's on the bus and he's run out to see her on the bus. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And like, I get the thing, like he had like these moments where, this almost sweetness to him. And I think like that tugged at me because like, I really have like this part of me that goes like, don't judge people for like, necessarily how they present, especially if they seem slower, which is kind of like really the only way that I know how to describe him.
Yeah.
Like I find myself always wanting to be like extra kind to people that way because it doesn't seem like the world is very kind to them. But at the same time, that has gotten me not necessarily in like, trouble like this before, but it's gotten me into some sticky situations before with people. So I recognized a lot of my own experiences with uncomfortable people in that exchange, and knowing that sometimes saying no and trying to be firm isn't always enough.
Mm-hmm. I really wanted Sully to be who he could have been for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
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 We're dancing around a lot, so we'll talk obviously more about that in the spoiler room.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
his performance was insane. I was genuinely afraid. Like, that's, I think, was, well, again, spoiler territory, but that's the most fear I felt watching the whole movie was that dynamic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other kind of small bit player in this that I want to acknowledge before we talk about, we got to talk about the other big star of this, is fucking, we talked about Michael Stuhlbarg, his fucked up little wannabe eater buddy around the fire. And you already know this why, because we talked about it, but did you realize that's David Gordon Green?
No.
Yeah. I don't know that I have ever seen him act before.
Who is that person?
Oh, he, most recently he did the awful Halloween, the new Halloween trilogy. But prior to that, he was like a big indie film darling in the aughts and made some legitimately good movies before he made those terrible Halloween movies.
Okay, I knew that guy looked familiar, but I could not tell you from where. Yeah,
weirdly,
the guy
I don't
who
know
was
if I'd ever seen
cannibal
his
by
face
choice.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, an
Wild.
eater by choice. Cannibalism, like you pointed out, is a choice, but
yeah. I don't know that I'd ever seen his face before, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even know if I'd watched an interview with him, but also super solid. Like, that was, he had less to do in that scene than Stuhlbarg did, but like, still incredibly unnerving character and performance.
Yeah. Very disturbing.
I don't know how that bit of casting came together, but that worked very well too.
yeah, weird.
But let's give Timmy Shimmy his flowers. I love Timmy Shimmy.
I love that we haven't talked about him yet because there were so many other actors that it wasn't like a Timothee Chalamet movie.
Like I said, it was stacked.
Yeah.
The talent was insane.
Yeah.
And I don't think he outshined anybody.
No.
In the sense, like, that he was sort of, like, holding back and not trying to outshine, or more like you think the other performances were better than his?
I think the other performances were so strong that, again, like I just said, it wasn't a Timothee Chalamet movie. It was a beautifully written, acted, directed movie that shared the spotlight with everybody.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
The talent levels were all very well matched.
Yeah.
In this film.
Yeah. And he's a producer on this, and I think he does exactly what's needed of him, which, he is the protagonist. He's a protagonist, but not to the degree that Marin is. This is Marin's story. It's her show. and he, you know, I think knows what's required of him. And I mean, I fucking love this dude at this point. I was a little slow to warm up to him, but at this point, I'm fully in on the Church of Timmy Shimmy. Like, the guy takes his craft seriously, but he's not a douchebag about it, and just turns out really affecting performances. And this was no exception for me. And I mean, and their chemistry together is great too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like their attraction to each other and care for each other, and the ways that they kind of hurt each other in the process of trying to protect the other, are just feel so real and beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. It's just really well done on both their parts.
I love the scene where she's kind of gently getting him to talk about his trauma.
Yeah.
And this goes back right to Allison with what you were saying about, like, do these men even want to unpack this? Do they even want to restrain themselves? Or is this just an excuse to overindulge, whatever? But he tells her straight up, like, I don't want to talk about my dad. And she, in this really beautiful way, continues to gently push and get him to emote and gets him to feel his feelings. Like, oh, we've all been there. But that scene was really played well. It was really, I felt like, accurate, you know?
Definitely.
I am off the Timmy Shimmy wagon, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
He's fucking bugging me.
Yeah. What's he doing?
I think the Kylie Jenner of it all, I absolutely fucking hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even seem to be like a PR stunt. Like, they're fully together. And I just think anyone associating themselves with that whole brand or family is just gross.
Yeah.
And that whole like PR thing they did of that Zoom call to promote Marty Supreme, I swear to God, I watched it twice and I was like, there is not one, I am not laughing at this. Like, this feels so cringe to me. I don't even know anything about this movie they're promoting. And they were like, this is some of the best PR anyone's ever done for a movie. And I was like, no, I hated it.
What was this?
You haven't seen this?
No.
Oh, it came out like a week or a little longer ago, that there was this big PR push for the movie that's coming out, I guess, this weekend, or came out last weekend. I think it came out already, which I couldn't tell you what it's about. But basically,
table tennis. It's about table tennis.
Timothee Chalamet is on a Zoom call with like a team of creatives that are promoting Marty Supreme, and he's just being him. I mean, he's playing himself, promoting Marty Supreme, and it's like a 16-minute or longer Zoom call where he's just pushing all these outlandish ideas, like put it on a blimp, put Marty Supreme on a blimp, or like. I can't even explain it to you, but it was so cringy. And the feedback that like the industry gave it was like, this is masterful PR. And I was just like, this is gross to me. I'm on a tangent. I assumed that both of you or one of you had seen that, but, and then I think
I'm going to seek it out now though.
You have to. And I have to know what you think about it.
We'll see if I make it through 16 minutes. That's it. That feels like asking a lot.
I think I watched it on like 2X, but I was like, what am I missing here? This is not funny or endearing. This feels like, is this really what he's like? Because I am bringing this like chip on my shoulder about the Kardashians. And I've gone off on a long tangent now, but I just liked him before all of that. I liked him the best when he was just like, I don't know, just a cool fucking guy.
Yeah. I got super into him as of the Dylan movie. Like, that was what really sold me. I was just like, this is incredible. His respect for Dylan and what he was doing was incredible. And the performance was very, very impressive. And you know, and then reminded me of how much I had enjoyed like Lady Bird and Call Me By Your Name and other things
Dune,
here and there.
and yeah, I mean,
Dune, I can take or leave him in Dune. And I mean, some of that is just the character too. Like, you know, he's the Luke Skywalker of it all. He's the boring guy. But yeah, I don't really feel. I don't know. I don't know anything about Kylie Jenner, to be honest. It feels like an odd choice for him to be dating her, but I'm not I'm generally not very invested in celeb relationships in general. But as
I'm not either,
as an
but this
actor,
one
I love him.
bugs me.
No, it makes me feel gross too. It's like been kind of one of my, I want to like this guy because I think he's really talented, but I'm like, who are you really as a person?
Yeah,
If like this is who you spend a bunch of your time with.
exactly. Yeah. Ick.
When he was on Nardwuar, that's what I needed to see. That's what I needed to know about who he is as a person. I saw somebody. Sorry, talk about a tangent, but I saw someone was like, I judge celebrities by the way they treat Nardwuar, and I was
What's that?
Nardwuar is this like Canadian weirdo who's like kind of doing a character, like kind of doing a bit, but also I think it's just him. And he just does weird celebrity interviews. He feels a little bit like a human cartoon character. So like famously Sonic Youth was interviewed by him and they were just huge dicks to him. Like, what's your problem, man? And Timmy was just met Nardwuar on his goofy level and was like geeking out about music with him. And it was just a very charming thing. Is Kylie the one who did the Pepsi commercial?
No, that was Kendall.
That was Kendall.
Okay, yeah.
No, Kylie's the one with the fake everything. Who's she's a billionaire. She's got a cosmetic line, and she's just part of a terrible, awful fucking brand.
Yeah. It's like her whole, most of her life she's been on camera. And so it's like to a degree, like some of it's like not her fault because she was literally raised to be a product by her mom. But yeah, no, not a good. I don't think any of those people are good people.
And I think we're getting way too far into this, so we can stop. But I think a lot of Hollywood has kind of snubbed their relationship. Like I've seen clips of people at the Oscars where friends of his that were friends, like Zendaya. Zendaya?
I always thought it was
it's Zendaya.
And then recently I heard somebody say Zendaya, and I was like, oh, I guess maybe I've been mispronouncing that.
Like, I think he was good friends with Zendaya, and there's a couple other, like, female actresses that, like, there was a clip of them that went viral where they went up to his table at the Oscars to say hello, and, like, no one said hello to Kylie because, I don't know, I think other people, and again, who fucking cares? They're celebrities, who cares? But I'm interested in this a little bit. I think other people are kind of like, what is he doing? This is gross and a joke. So.
Interesting.
It's a strange match.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, for sure. He should date Taylor Russell.
I know.
Great chemistry.
All right. Well, I feel like since we're getting into like tabloid gossip here, it's probably about time to review this and go to the spoiler room, right?
Yeah.
That went on for far too long. I'm really sorry. Clearly needed to get that off my chest to someone.
We're just vibing. I feel seen, honestly. You said it and I felt seen. So
thank God.
I mean, it's the end game. It's our second to last podcast. We're a Kylie Jenner podcast now. No, okay. Here's how little I know about Kylie Jenner. I literally looked her up the other day because of this Timmy connection. I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't know anything about any of that. I don't know how those families are connected. And I was like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner is her mom. Like I legitimately didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did
There's
not know.
There's a lot of lore.
Good for you. I wish I was that naive to that.
Like I knew Kris Jenner was a thing. I didn't know like Kris and Caitlyn were the the scions or whatever of the family
of Kylie and Kendall. Yes.
Wait, where does the Kardashian factor come in? Robert Kardashian was married to
Chris.
Who? Chris. Oh, okay.
And then he died.
Oh,
and then she married Bruce, who's now Caitlyn.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the 4 Kardashian kids, and then the 2 Jenner kids. I don't know.
So yeah, this is when we make the announcement that we are actually going to be starting a Kardashian podcast where Allison and I teach Patrick about the Kardashian Jenner lore.
We trace back their lineage and we tell all of the lore behind all of them because there is no shortage. That family's a hot fucking mess.
Oh man, I love it. I also love like how this is about as far as possible as you can get from like a discussion of the like beautiful art house film that is Bones and All. Like we're just digging into the Kardashian family tree now instead.
I can't stop laughing. Oh my God, let's review this fucker.
Yes, please. Allison
I'll go
with
first.
An I. Yeah, perfect.
I'm a hard view it. I loved this movie. I loved the book. I love this director. I love the cast. I loved everything about it. This is in my top, I don't know, somewhere favorite. It's not even horror. I think I couldn't categorize it as horror, but just one of my favorite movies. So yes, hard view it here. Allison with an I.
Yeah.
Allison with an I just went.
Allison with a Y.
Oh, it's a view it. Obviously, it's a phenomenal film. I'm so glad I got to watch it. I'm glad like this is the last movie that we review for this because, I mean, I figured we would. Once I realized that this was going to be the last one, that we're going out on a banger.
Yeah,
probably of a movie from everything I could tell, and yeah, it did not disappoint. It was beautiful. It was a lot more beautiful than I even anticipated it being. It really touched me in a lot of ways and surprised me and kept me on my toes, and just was an incredible genre mashup in like the best way. Patrick.
Also on the View It bandwagon, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful film. It's a bit of a slow burn. Prepare for that, I guess, if you're not already. It takes its time meandering around, meeting different characters. It is heartbreaking. It is horrifying. Like I would categorize it as horror. Like, God damn, there's some gore in this for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not in like a ooh fun. That's cool gore. Whatever kind of. It's not Terrifier. And yeah, deeply unsettling shit in here, along with all the character study stuff. But yeah, just a beautiful movie and absolutely devastating ending that we're about to talk about in the spoiler room. But yeah, really glad I finally got around to this. So we are going to go to... Are we getting in the spoiler pickup truck? I don't know. I feel like we could come up with something better for our final spoiler room. Where are we going?
The spoiler apartment in Ann Arbor.
The spoiler Ann Arbor apartment. That was a weird moment for
so
us because we all Allison with an I lives in Ann Arbor and we live right next door to Ann
close
Arbor.
Enough.
Yeah, so
we've lived in Ann Arbor before.
Yeah, so that was a very strange moment when like the end game of this movie takes place in Ann Arbor. But yeah, we're going to spoiler Ann Arbor.
Bringing it back home.
But before we hop on I-94 and take the 20-minute drive over there, this feels pointless at this point, I guess. But I go to our website, I guess, everyhorrormovieonnetflix.com. It'll probably still be around in some form for a while. The podcast itself, like the episodes, are going to be out there. I think I can find a way to make sure that they stay out there for the long term. So if you're one of those, as I always lovingly refer to you all as sickos who like to re-listen to old episodes or re-listen the whole fucking show, which I know there are some of you do that, and you're crazy. I love you for it, though. It'll still be out there. This will still be accessible. Don't worry. You can still find it at everyhorrormovieonnetflix.com for now, and in the long run, probably just on your podcast provider of choice. You can look it up and find it there. And you can still hop on our social media, too.
Well, we will, for the time being, keep our Facebook and Instagram and probably YouTube things up, if not particularly active. But you can find us on those things. At EHMON Cast, EHMON Cast.
And if you guys want to leave one last review, since
we still want them, we still want that feedback.
And they gotta be slutty. Remember?
Oh yeah, horny
we
reviews.
Need more horny reviews.
Horny, right? Horny.
Who knows? If you leave some horny reviews, we might just create a new podcast because clearly the world needs us.
Yeah,
that horny for us.
Yeah. Even once the podcast is over, we would still love to get reviews. You know, a couple years down the road, you listen to the podcast and we read your horny review and just have that beautiful reminder of when we reviewed Bones and All. Bones for All, as I said at the end of the last episode. All right, Jesus Christ, we're going to spoiler Ann Arbor. We'll see you there in just a second. All right, we are back. We have hopped in the pickup truck and driven over to Allison with an Eyes place in spoiler Ann Arbor. And we are going to spoil everything about Bones and All. I mean, well, one of our, I guess, sort of first spoilers is another fucking great performance in this ensemble that we haven't even talked about yet. And actually, this is so appropriate because it's fucking Chloe Sevigny. I don't know, however you pronounce her last name.
I don't know how to say it either.
But I mean, Chloe has a long history on EHMON. We've been Chloe stans on this podcast going back to the early Anti-Birth. Anti-Birth? Was that the name of that movie, I think? Yeah, Anti-Birth.
Was that the one with Natasha Lyonne?
Yeah, which I really need to rewatch because I didn't have an appreciation of Natasha Lyonne at the time. So I really need to go back to that one. But yeah, Chloe plays Marin's mom. She finally gets to this, state hospital where her mom has been institutionalized. And her mom is in about the worst possible shape you could imagine.
Yeah, she's eaten off both of her hands.
Yep. She's got 2 stumps. And she's medicated to a degree where she can't speak. And Chloe, of course, acts the ever-living goddamn hell out of a scene where she has basically no lines. I mean, I think she kind of rasps out a few words at some point, but she's mostly just doing this devastating work exclusively with her eyes.
Yeah, once I realized it was Chloe, I was like, of course.
Yeah.
This is such a role for Chloe Sevigny. Like, she would absolutely take this on.
Yeah. And the hospital presents Marin with a letter that her mom wrote to give to her that basically says, like, as an eater, my life is hell and I don't want you to go through what I'm going through. And so then she tries to fucking eat and kill Marin, which is harrowing. And I mean, she didn't get far because Chloe's pretty weak. I forget the mom's actual name, so I'm just calling her Chloe. Marin gets away, but damn, that was one of the most upsetting scenes in the movie. And there are some very upsetting scenes in this movie, but that's top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and then just watching Marin try to process through that, you know, she has basically her only objective, what's been keeping her going, has been finding her mom and getting her story or having someone to empathize with or to connect with. And she gets rejected in the worst possible way. Her mom tries to kill her, and we understand her intentions, but how could Marin know that, heartbreaking. And then she ultimately makes the decision to just totally isolate and push everybody away at that point because she's completely dejected.
Yeah, so she runs away from Lee for a while, and then who fucking turns up but Sully? And what's he been up to? Following them around.
Yeah.
And goddamn, Rylance, another incredible fucking scene, showing up like, oh, hey, buddy, I'm back. Like, I want to hang out. And then, turns around on a dime when she says, no, I don't feel comfortable with you and please stop following me. And he turns on a dime, calls her the C slur, and it's wild. Again, this is just a character who feels dangerous in a very real way. This is not a cartoon villain. This is a guy who is not quite right in the head and is just scary and unpredictable in a way that seems totally real. I mean, I'm just thinking of right before he drops that C slur, the way he like walks behind his van, like he's walking away and then comes back out like he's thought better of it and now is having this other very aggressive reaction. It was such a weird choice that worked so well, and I don't know if it was his choice or him and Luca kind of came up with that together. But it's such a quick beat, but it was wonderfully disorienting in a really, just very real way.
That was the scariest scene of the movie to me.
Which is saying something.
Yeah,
because he's gotten even scarier. Well, I mean, I felt it. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. There's another one after this that is also extremely scary. I guess I'll put it that way. Yeah,
I just found myself like visibly kind of like viscerally kind of curling up and like protecting myself just because the way he acted that was so what you see in real life. Yeah. How that happens exactly, no exaggeration. And that was the scene I was referring to when I said the way she dealt with him was masterful. She was so kind and gentle and passive with him. And to see that she did everything right and he still flipped the fuck out on her. And like, you know, you realize right then, like, he's very dangerous. And how has he been following her? What are the logistics there? That's so scary because, you know, if it's pre-cell phones, I don't even know.
Well, he can smell her.
Oh, he can fucking smell her, right?
Yeah, because this is a thing that's established is that the eaters can like smell each other, but they also kind of have to learn how to. Like Marin is sort of learning how to. Yeah. So I would presume like he's just sort of following their like scent trail or whatever.
Yeah, that scene was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And then she makes her way back to Lee and says, like, fuck it, let's do this together. And and they seemingly are going to have like a good thing. They decide they want to live like real people for a while and get jobs and make their way to a little cute apartment in Ann Arbor.
Well, yeah, because she learns, you know, you referenced his trauma before, and we learn, and this is kind of what draws her back to him, but she learns from his sister that they had an abusive father who was an eater, and then the father mysteriously disappeared. Lee was framed for that for a moment and then got off the hook. And when Marin finally goes back to Lee and, you know, gets more of the story, talks it out of him, as we were describing before, it turns out that because the dad was abusive, Lee basically like, tied
him up
and duct tape and then ate him eventually.
Yep.
Which is, you know, again, quite devastating.
And like such another strong metaphor for like generational trauma, in my opinion, you know? He's just devouring this thing that has ruined him.
Yeah.
I wonder, this thought just came to me, but Sully is quite a bit older than all of the eaters that they've met. And I wonder if like Sully's mental capacity is a result of him having this, we'll call it a disease, and just getting older because they meet a couple of different generations. You know, they are in their 20s. They meet homeboy. Sorry, what's the actor's name?
Stuhlbarg.
I've gotten it wrong twice.
Yeah.
They meet Michael
homeboy Stuhlbarg.
They meet Stuhlbarg, so he's probably in his like 50s, and then I would say Sully's in like his 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of wondering out loud if like there's a deterioration implied there because of this disease, or if that's just Sully being mentally ill.
Yeah, quite possibly, because the Stuhlbarg character also seems to have deteriorated. He all the lights are not on upstairs with that guy either. So yeah, quite possibly. But yeah, I mean, so they reconcile over this. I mean, it's not even a reconciliation so much as like Marin realizing that Lee also has some serious shit in his past, and maybe they can try and make a better life of things together. So they settle in Ann Arbor. And then Lee is out one day and Sully shows up to Yeah. I mean, he's looking to eat Marin, right? I actually don't even remember. What is he menacing her for? Like, what is his goal? He's going to kill her,
He's a
right?
sick, obsessed man. He
Yeah.
just wants to control. It's control, I think. I don't know that he really wants to eat her. He just wants to smell her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very upsetting. Like, I mean, he's got her pinned on a bed with a knife. And he keeps like vacillating between this, like, you know, like kind of putting his head on her chest, like trying, like, making overtures toward like tenderness almost, and then but there's like the violence right with it at every moment. It's again just extremely disturbing scene, played incredibly well and conceived incredibly well.
Yeah, it seemed like he wanted to sexually assault her.
Yes,
that was very much the vibe of
Yes.
that whole scene.
Yeah. And kill her at the same time. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. And eat her at the same time. And, you know, Freud could have a
very Freudian.
field day with this one. Yeah.
Yeah, Sully's almost infantile in those moments where he's putting his head on
yeah.
her chest. Like, he's totally regressed back to a baby.
Yeah.
And
he's drooling. It's so weird and unsettling. And again, like, full props to everybody involved for making this work and be as skin crawling and upsetting as it is.
But here comes Lee,
Here
who
comes Lee.
Sully hasn't seen because he's behind him. And, oh, God, Lee chooses the absolute worst way of trying to kill him by putting a bag over his head. And
Yeah, it was a choice.
we've seen Lee kill people before. He killed that guy in the field by slitting his throat, and it seemed like he was good at it. I had high hopes for Lee taking down Sully, but ultimately Sully gets just one good swipe in and hits Lee right in the long heart area.
Yeah, I mean, Lee does take out Sully. Like, Sully does die. But yeah, then it turns out a couple minutes later, Lee's got a very, very fatal looking wound in his chest and his lung, and tells Marin to eat him, bones and all, which is kind of a concept that's come up a few times, that like one of the big first like coming of age moments, I guess, for these eaters is when they eat an entire body for the first time. Yeah. So he's like, you know, I'm not going to make it. Eat me. And she does, which is mercifully not like super graphic, but still incredibly upsetting, and probably would have been less upsetting if it had been super graphic. Actually, I think it's played to the maximum emotional effect that it could have. It's well done. And then last minute kind of hallucinatory, dreamy sequence of them sitting on a hill naked together. And I mean, I'm sure it's, you know, fantasy or something. It's, yeah, it's very ambiguous in, I think, a poignant and beautiful way. And that's that.
And closes with a song. I didn't realize Trent Reznor did the soundtrack to this, did the score, which is so cool. I'm a big fan. That last scene really frustrated me, not the dreamscape, but like, she was like, we can't call an ambulance. It's like, sure you can. This man has been following you around the country.
Right.
You don't need to explain that to a police. Like, he broke and entered and self-defense. Get Lee to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted a happy ending for them so badly, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen. It made me so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bummer. Like, it just like recalling it now, I just feel the same thing I felt at the end of the movie. Just like this quiet kind of like, oh, that was great, but I'm also kind of mad that it made me feel this way at the end. Like, why'd you do that to me? Why'd
Same
you take
way I
me on
felt
this journey?
at the end of Call Me By Your Name. Why you have to watch it.
It's the best kind of devastating. You know? It's very well earned.
Yes.
Very well earned. Yeah.
Poor Marin.
Definitely.
Oh God, my heart hurts for her because it's like, where does she go from there?
She has nothing.
What the fuck does she do? Ugh.
I mean, there's definitely like reader/viewer theories that she kills herself after that, and that's part of what that final shot is trying to say. I don't know that I agree with that, but
Feels more like a death hallucination than anything else from Lee's part.
Or to me, just like her flashing back on a beautiful moment of connection and vulnerability when it felt like things were going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, there's no definitive answer. It's very, I think even, I saw something online from the script where even the description of the scene in the script is very, very ambiguous. You know, I think even the text of the screenplay says like, it could be this or this or this, you know, it's intended to, you know, it's whatever you want it to be, whatever you feel it is.
Yeah.
Well, if we had to end this damn thing, this was a good note to go out on because this was a film with an F.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Capital F and film. Well, that's Bones and All, and that's our last review for the podcast, which is a wild thing to say. But we will be back for one more episode after this. Longtime listeners know we end each year with our EHMON Awards, where we will pick our favorite movies we watched for the podcast for the year, our least favorite movies we watched for the podcast for the year, our favorite horror stuff that we took in outside of the cast, and also we're going to give out the Spirit of J Award, which, yes, we'll explain what the fuck that means one last time.
Also, we have to pour a cup of Old Lang Syne, I think.
We do, yeah.
One last time.
Drink a cup of Old Lang Syne for Chris. That's another deep cut joke. But yeah, we'll be doing that next episode. I'm excited. I always enjoy the EHMON Awards, and I'm glad that even though we're about to shut this thing down, that we'll get to do that together one time.
I'm excited. I finally get to do an EHMON Awards.
Yeah, it's always a fun party. A nice little break from the usual reviewing bit. So yeah, it'll be fun. Maybe I'll cry. And we'll send out the year and the podcast in general next time. For every horror movie on Netflix, I'm Patrick.
I'm Allison with a Y.
And Allison with an I.
And we'll see you next time. For the last time.